Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 o'clock, and if it's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, you know that means it's on the mark. I'm Mark Brantley, your host for the show this evening, and I'm delighted to welcome you to another edition of this show. Thank you very much for those of you here at home in Davis, those at home in St. Kitts, those who are listening from throughout the Caribbean, those who are in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, wherever you may be. Thank you for being here with us tonight. You have been with us for the last decade and a half and more, and we're very grateful. Some of our listeners we know have consistently listened to this show every Wednesday. In fact, a friend of mine told me in Boston that he puts on Von Radio early in the day so that he doesn't miss the show when it comes tonight. And I met a young lady the other day who appeared to be maybe about 15 or 16, and she says, I've never met you, but I know your voice because your voice is in our house every Wednesday. And I'm delighted, that we have that type of impact, and we have been given the opportunity to be in people's homes and to engage with them. So thank you very much for joining us. And we anticipate, of course, a good show tonight. I want to thank the Honorable Eric Evelyn, who would have filled in for me in my absence. I think that many would have known that I traveled recently. I will fill in you more on that. I like to report on these things, so I'll fill you in a bit more on that as we go into the show. But at the top of the show, we have some guests, and I think I want to get that dealt with early o'clock because they have important things to do and they have important places to be. And tonight, I am pleased to welcome back to the studios of Von Radio and to On the Mark none other than Keith Scarborough, MBE, the King This and That. King This and That, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Mark. I'm indeed excited to be back on this program, and I want to say good evening to all who are listening to the On the Mark program this evening. Of course, we are here to release song number 2, because after Music Festival is over, that is when the Nevis Cultural takes center stage.
Good. Well, we have this and that here. We have song number 2. King, before we go live with the song, has the song been released anywhere else?
Nowhere else.
So this is the first time people are hearing the song. Tell us a bit about the song before we hear it.
The song is called I Cry Tears for Me Calypso, and it speaks for itself as usual. And Mark, before I go any further, I want to say to my fans and the critics alike that this year, as of Monday next week, I'll be having a pen drive with 50 songs for $50. 50 songs
for $50.
$1 per song, and I only did 100. So come early and get your copy. Don't wait till they're gone and then start complaining.
King, I would like to order one right now.
You see what I'm saying?
I want you to, because if it's only 100, I know they're going to go quickly.
They're going to go quickly.
And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big announcement tonight that King This and That, who has been the only Calypsonian to have, I believe, perhaps the only Calypsonian in the region,
yes,
to have competed in every single Calypso competition since the age of what?
15.
15. Well, you're too young. You should have been home in those days. But since the age of 15, and so he has now produced a compilation of 50 songs for Culturama, 50, and for the cost of just $50.
$1 per song.
$1 per song. That is a hell of a deal. Steal of a deal, as they would say. And I'm ordering mine now, King. So save one for me.
Will do.
And I'm hopeful that other people will get the. I'm pretty sure that you'll have to go back and get more than 100 because people are going to be coming in numbers, I think, to get access to that. That, I think, is something for the archives.
It is for
to
the
have
archives.
that 50 songs, $50, one album, one compilation, and so we encourage persons to grab that.
And it was very difficult to choose, Mark.
I could
was
imagine.
215 songs
Oh,
to pick 50 from.
Wow. Good. Well, that is going to be interesting, and I look forward to having a listen to that and to see what that is like. But that is also 50 years of history, and that is important that we memorialize these things and we have them for all time. So I think that this and that, I want to commend you on that initiative. I think that that's very, very important. But we're here tonight for another reason, and that is to hear this song. And you say the song name again?
I Cry Tears for Me Calypso.
Cry Tears for Me Calypso. This is King This and That, brand new for 2024 Culturama 50.
Tell them leave me alone. They're not hearing. Last year in the Calypso I than them, and how they are no problem. I couldn't believe what I'm hearing, so I asked Poopa who that singing. Poopa say, boy, is the King Hollywood. Then he tell me, King, I think that you should let the nation know about the history of Calypso in this country. Poopa say Hollywood is out of place, he's a small donkey in a horse race. I tell Poopa leave him up to me, cause you don't know already. I love to go toe to toe, and I believe in blow for blow, especially with a party show. So when I hear the cry from King Astro,
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
I hold me head and I ball of no.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Astro boy Hollywood standard is so low.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
That boy remind me of Sandra Popo.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Oh how I miss the King Miko, Ginger Chaplet, Mighty Flamingo. When they were here was real Calypso. But nowadays it's box and invalids, getting the nod from the judges. Like the criteria don't mean a thing, or the sabotaging the king.
That's why I cry.
Cry for me Calypso, cry because all you know. For 49 years I work real hard to raise me this Calypso standard.
High, 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 high.
Calypso was fun in this country, we used to become a plenty. Criticism we always accept, we never show no one disrespect. Calypsonian was free to deliver messages without any rancor. All you know, me and King Miko had bacchanal here in Calypso. But I always admire the brother, cause he was a fierce competitor. Craftiness was make a real gain, coming king was always his aim. But Hollywood went back to Anguilla and came last again, brother, clearly showing he have no class. Calypso for him, my friend, is a task. So all you tell him behave. When I hear the cry from King Astro,
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
I hold me head and I ball of no.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Astro boy Hollywood standard is so low.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
That boy remind me of Sandra Popo.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Oh how I miss the King Miko, Ginger Chaplet, Mighty Flamingo. When they were here was real Calypso. But nowadays it's box and invalids, getting the nod from the judges. Like the criteria don't mean a thing, or the sabotaging the king.
That's why I cry.
Cry for me Calypso, cry because all you know. For 49 years I work real hard to raise me this Calypso standard.
High, 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 high.
Yes. Like some people already decided, Calypso must be subjected to their whims and their fancy, no matter how low that standard be. So they make some bad decisions to satisfy their conditions. Their intentions are very clear, but Calypso they don't want to hear. So as we celebrate the 50, I took a look at the history, how it started and where we are, and give God thanks for reaching so far. But my friends, my time is running near, when I no longer will be here. It's only then you go understand that I was always the champion of Calypso here in this nation. So when I hear the cry from King Astro,
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
I hold me head and I ball of no.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Astro boy Hollywood standard is so low.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
That boy remind me of Sandra Popo.
I cry tears for me, Calypso.
Oh how I miss the King Miko, Ginger Chaplet, Mighty Flamingo. When they were here was real Calypso. But nowadays it's box and invalids, getting the nod from the judges. Like the criteria don't mean a thing, or the sabotaging the king.
That's why I cry.
Cry for me Calypso, cry because all you know. For 49 years I work real hard to raise me this Calypso standard.
High, 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 high.
Yes. I'm sure all you agree with me.
King this and that. I find it an interesting Calypso because you took aim at King Hollywood.
I took aim at who they gave my crown to.
You know, I was saying to somebody the other day that I found that the Calypso was not as entertaining as it used to be, because you mentioned some names and I said, you know, there was a time when people flock to the complex of the Calypso show because they want to know what Miko and this and that are going to do. They want to hear Bingy and Astro. They want to hear Ginger and Chaplet and people like those, you know. There was I think a real sense of excitement. You had a lot of precon, you had a lot of the Calypsonians having jabs at each other. It was, I think, a different sort of game. Now you get Calypso, yes, and I have always said that I'm not a connoisseur, so I'm not able to judge and say what is better than what, but in terms of the excitement that you used to get. So you hear a lot of songs now about culture, about politics, about whatever it may be, but in terms of the excitement, the bacchanal of it, you know. I mean, when you used to go and people have nigger business and this kind of thing in the Calypso, man, it was a different kind of Calypso. This one, I think, comes close to that. It brings that back, and I think what it does, it now says to a Hollywood, what you going to say, what you going to respond, you know, that kind of thing. And so I like it a lot. Hollywood is my friend. Hollywood, I'm laughing.
My friend too.
I'm laughing because I think it took a couple uppercuts. The question is how you're going to respond now. So King, what did that motivated you? Because you focus on Hollywood. The other Calypsonians didn't say much about
Hollywood. What I did was to focus on the man that they gave me crown to.
They gave you
so
crown.
It doesn't matter whether it was Hollywood or Astro or whoever it was. That's where you target.
But if they gave him the crown,
yes.
It's the judges who gave him that, and he didn't take it himself.
Well, that's what this song is saying. Like some people already decided Calypso must be subjected to their wings and their fancy, no matter how low that standard be.
Fantastic. This is interesting. This is Kaiso,
of course,
at its best, and this I think is what we need. We need some excitement for Culture Armor 50. It is all good and well everybody singing hip hip hooray for Culture Armor 50, but we need some excitement, and I think this reminds me very much of the songs that we used to go to hear, you know. And when you're in the complex and one side come back in a Calypsonian, another side back in somebody else, you know, and man, it was the excitement was there.
That's
and I think that is what we're looking for. So King, thanks a million for that. The inspiration still, as you say, 49 years, you still have it, it's still coming.
It's pure love for the art form.
And you know, as I've said to somebody, I was speaking to a young lady, and the young lady competed once. And you know, young people, I suppose, are now made up differently to people of perhaps our generation. But nevertheless, the young lady competed once, and somebody got into her head and tell her, oh, she did so great, she should have been in the finals and she should have placed and that kind of thing. And she said to me she was cheated and she will not compete again. And I said to her, I said, you know, you have to pay your dues. And sometimes, even though you feel aggrieved you have to understand that the judges are doing their job. And one of the things I've always respected about you, King This and That, is that win, lose, or draw, you are back there again, battling next year. So you shrug it off, you move on. I believe that there are times when people genuinely feel, listen, even objectively, this was robbery.
Of course.
This was robbery, and some say it's part of the culture too.
It is.
It's part of the culture. So I know one person tell me when he looked down and he see who the panel of judges are, he said, "Boy, you don't stand a chance."
Game over.
Game over. So I understand that. But having said that, I think the stick-to-itiveness, the ability to say, listen, through good times, through bad times, we would have had, for example, we know that you have been a candidate for the CCM, you are a strong supporter of the Concerned Citizens Movement, and we had a time when the NRP was in office, and basically it was said quite publicly that you could not win a crown. Right? You could not win a crown to the point where I tell people all the time that NRP crown a man who talk, not sing. They bring a man from singing and give him a crown, and the man really is talking, he's not singing. But it was anybody but this and that. But still you sang every year.
Every year.
Some people would have said, well, I'm not singing while they're there, but you sang every year. And I think that some of us don't really give enough credit for that, because you're almost going into it knowing, based on the biases that have been expressed, that you will not succeed, but you're still there every year, singing every year. And that means really and truly somebody who loves the art form and does it for the fans and for the development of our culture.
And I won twice under them and came first one up 3 times.
Well, sometimes you say class is class and it can't be denied.
Can't be denied.
So despite the best efforts, people know. And I think deep down we all have a conscience and we all understand that, listen, when you see something, you hear something, and you know it is so much better than the rest, what are you going to do with it? Right? And I think that some of those decisions, crowning some of those people, really went down badly in Nevis. People didn't like it at all.
I know.
And so, King This and That, thank you very much. I know you have band house and band practice and all of this happening. How's Culture Armor shaping up in your view as a veteran of this arena?
I always say, once music festival is over, all the focus shift to Culture Armor, and this one is going to be a big one, and you could feel the tempo building nicely towards that grand finale.
Well, in fact, tomorrow night at MEMS, we have the quarterfinals,
Yes,
the eliminations, and so we are inviting everybody to come up to MEMS. I'm very, very happy that we're having a big event like that right there in the heart of St. John's, right at MEMS Pizzeria. I saw them be putting up the stage and getting ready. So that is going to be Calypso Central tomorrow night, and everybody's going to come. Now, with eliminations, you're only doing one song.
One song.
So you do one song in order to get through to the next round, which takes you to the semifinals.
Yes.
And then
you do 2.
you do 2 at the semis, which then takes you to the final 8, which is the final. 7 plus the king.
Well, this year they said they're doing 9 plus the king.
9, okay. So you have 10 Calypsonians this year. Okay. Well, a lot of innovations this year. Big prizes, you know, considerable prize money. I'm told a car is on offer this year. This is what I'm hearing. I don't know.
So I heard.
So I heard as well. So some big things happening. We have scholarships, college scholarships available for the Queen. I believe cars, vehicles available for others. You know, it's going to be interesting. And the government has really pulled out the stops. We are trying our very best with our venues. We're trying our best with sponsorship. We are partnering with the private sector. We really want to make this a big celebration. And I'm truly, truly happy what I'm seeing. And as you said, the excitement that is already building in the community. On Friday, all roads lead up to Kaiser Bar. That is by Panko, right there in the corner of Coal Hill, where they have an action corner this Friday. So there's a lot of action in the community. And then, of course, this weekend is the big Mango Festival. So we kick off Mango Festival tomorrow. Thursday, we have the launch. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is the big event at the MGR Park. And so we have a lot that's happening, King This and That. A lot of excitement in Nevis.
Nice build-up.
We're only praying that God blesses us with good weather, and that our people remain on their best behavior. I think once those things happen, we're going to have a wonderful summer. So,
agreed.
Thank you again for being here, my brother. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you a lot, Mark.
I'm
really grateful for that, because I know you're a busy man, and it's getting busier by the minute.
Good. Thank
you very much. Yep.
That is King This and That, Mr. Keith Scarborough, MBE, who has competed in all except 1. 2. All right, of our Culture Armor competitions, and I believe that is truly a record that is worthy of commendation. So King This and That, he takes his leave, and This and That, just before you go, just to know that people are already texting me saying they want a copy of that. So you're going to have to really print some more. This is King This and That. And what we're talking about, if you're just joining us, King This and That has indicated that he's produced a compilation of 50 songs. 50 songs spanning his career. He said he had 215 to choose from. 50 songs spanning his career, representing Culture Armor 50, and he's offering it for 50 EC dollars. So that is simply incredible, and we certainly invite one and all to come out and be a part of that. Now, I have another guest who should be joining me in about 10 minutes, and before he comes, or while he's making his way here, I hope that he does make it, I just wanted to extend some condolences to the Prentice family on the passing of Lillian Prentice there in Church Ground. And it's really bittersweet for me because I was away when it happened. I'm very close to the family, and you know, Papa, Carl, Stephen, Sandra, the whole group, really, all of the children, the grandchildren, the extended family. I really want to extend my condolences. Lillian was well known to many. She had suffered some illnesses in latter years, and you know, I was in close contact with the family even though I was abroad, and so I just want to extend my deepest condolences publicly to them and let them know that they're in our prayers. I also want to extend deepest condolences to my brother Spencer Brand and his family, the loss of his granddaughter, to Steadroy Brand and his beautiful wife on the loss of their child, to Sheila, Lady Sheila as I call her, on the loss of her granddaughter. It is really tragic. I'm told the young baby was only 3 years old and succumbed to her illness, and so we would want to extend deepest condolences to those who are mourning. While I'm in that mode, let me also extend condolences to Doreen there in Pond Hill and the entire family on the tragic loss of her son. We were able, I say we because I was in Taiwan with the Honorable Prime Minister Terence Drew, and we were both able to speak to Doreen via telephone from Taiwan, and just to extend our condolences to her and to again invite the public to provide all that they can in terms of assistance to the police to bring the perpetrators of that particular crime quickly to justice. We need justice in Nevis, and we can't get justice unless people are prepared to come forward and to say what they know. And so I invite those who have information to come forward. I know the police are working hard to solve these cases. I'm aware that we're getting assistance from various quarters, and I am hopeful that we'll have a breakthrough, and a breakthrough soon. So all of those out there who have committed these crimes and feel that they're safe, you're not. You're not. The police are on your tail, and it is only a matter of time. And so I am hopeful that the police will be able to do what they need to do to arrest the perpetrators and to get this island back on a safe and stable footing. And so I want those who are mourning to know that my thoughts and prayers are with them. If there are other members in the community who have lost loved ones, please know that we're praying for you as well, and we hope that the prayers of the multitude will comfort you in your hour of bereavement. While I'm on that, let me extend my deep thoughts and condolences in many respects, but certainly reaching out in a very heartfelt way to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, people of St. Lucia, the people of Barbados, and now the people of Jamaica, a land that I love, a place that I lived, who are all being battered by Hurricane Beryl. We are told that Union Island in the Grenadines and Carriacou, which is part of the tripartite state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, that both Union Island and Carriacou have been destroyed. This is just tonight I saw a report on the BBC which says over 90% of the homes in Union Island are gone or damaged. And so we have an unfolding crisis because, of course, we have these storms, and then after the storm you have a real crisis in terms of individuals, shelter, food, clothing, basic amenities. And so we're asking, of course, all who can help. I'm fairly certain that as government we'll be trying to organize what we can to get assistance down to Carriacou and Union Island, but also now we're here in Jamaica facing the wrath of Beryl, and Beryl now barreling onwards to places like the Cayman Islands and then into Mexico. So there's a lot that is likely to happen. All we can do in the face of the fury of nature is to pray and ask for God's guidance. We are aware that things are bad, but we know that it could have been a lot worse. And the storms are passing through. This Beryl is the most powerful storm this early in the season in history. And it really underscores, because we keep talking about climate change and the fact that this is not for armchair discussions by academics. The people in the Caribbean find themselves on the front lines of a war that we did not start, and frankly, a war to which we have not contributed. This issue of climate change is solely and squarely the greed, the rapid urbanization and development and industrialization of the developed world, the Western world in particular. And they have polluted this world and polluted this atmosphere and polluted our environment to such a degree that Mother Nature is now responding. Our oceans are much warmer. And as I listen to the experts, they say that it is because of the warm oceans why storms like Beryl happen so quickly, because the increased heat of the oceans acts as fuel for these storms. And if you realize, once they go over land, they weaken, immediately they get back over the ocean, they strengthen again. And it is time, I believe, that the world takes pause and considers that we of these islands, we in these developing states here in the Caribbean and the Pacific and elsewhere, we are paying a price. We are, as I said at the United Nations some years ago, we are being asked to cash a check that we did not write. We are being asked to pay a price for the excesses of others. And whereas they have had the benefits of a high standard of living based on their own industrialization, based on their own development path, that development path has come at a cost to the rest of the world. And we are here on the lines, the front lines of that battle. And I want our people to understand that very clearly, because oftentimes when we speak in international fora about climate change, there are those who scoff, there are those who give lip service. They say, oh, we need these billions and trillions of dollars, and we pledge these billions and trillions of dollars, but yet we can't access the money. Look at Little Nevis with a geothermal project, a project that will wean our country, not just the island, our country, and has the potential to contribute to weaning the sub-region of fossil fuels. We know that the consumption of fossil fuels is a significant contributor to climate change, and the gases that are emitted into the atmosphere, a significant contributor to what we are seeing now. More droughts, more violent storms, warmer oceans, more sargassum. That's what we are seeing. There is the potential that this can continue, unless, of course, we have the opportunity to arrest it and to deal with it in a positive way. This is very important for us, and it is important that the world takes notice and the world pays attention and the world considers that we, who are least able, are the ones who are being asked to deal with the burden of climate change. The people of Carriacou, the people of Union Island, they have never sent anything into the atmosphere to pollute the atmosphere. They don't produce oil. They don't do any of the things that the scientists say are causing climate change. But yet, they're the ones now who are homeless. They're the ones who are without shelter, without food, without water, without electricity, without internet or connectivity. They're the ones whose lives have been lost, because I'm told so far the death toll is as high as 7. This is not an academic discussion. This is real. And the threats to us and our Caribbean civilization is real. And it is time, I believe, that the world takes notice and that the world acts. The continued protestation and the continued hand wringing and the continued efforts at obfuscation, the continued statements that we know that this is happening, but let us push this to 2050 and 2060. It is easy for the developed world to say, because they're not the ones who are on the front line. The people of New York tonight, the people of London tonight, the people of Munich tonight, the people in Zurich and the developed world, those are not the ones who are tonight homeless because of Hurricane Beryl. And I think that we need to agitate and we need to be strong in our continued statements in relation to what is happening globally. And so my heart and my prayers go out to all of those who have been affected and those who are likely to be impacted as the storm continues on its path throughout the Caribbean Sea. It is now 8:30, and I did say that I had another guest, and he has arrived, and we don't have much time tonight, but he has a lot of important things to tell us about. And I speak of none other than Mr. Fayon Truss, who is the marketing... What am I saying?
I don't know, actually.
Fayon Jones. Where did I get Truss from? I'm christening you. Let me apologize to your parents, first of all. Fayon Jones, who is the marketing manager for the Nevis Tourism Authority, and he's here, he has arrived, and he's here to tell us about what? Our Mango Festival. The Mango Festival is this year in its 10th year. It is a big year for the Mango Festival. There are many innovations that have been introduced. I am particularly proud of this because this was one of the innovations that was introduced when I became Minister of Tourism. And here it is 10 years later, and that speaks to the longevity. It speaks to the fact that when there's a good idea, people run with it. It speaks, of course, to the capacity of those at the NTA now and before who have been the ones to carry this event. And this year, for the 10th anniversary, it looks like it's going to be an incredible, incredible festival. Last year we had some glitches because the event was more successful than had been anticipated. More people came out than had been anticipated. And this year, I'm assured that those glitches have been resolved, persons have been taken care of, and this year there are more amenities, more provisions for persons. I believe that this year the Mango Festival will be the best ever. 10 years of the Mango Festival happening this weekend. In fact, it starts tomorrow. Mr. Fayon Jones, let me hand things over to you, and you can tell us what is happening in relation to the Mango Festival.
Thank you, Mr. Premier, and thank you for having me tonight. As you said, we are celebrating 10 years of the Nevis Mango Festival, and this will begin July 4th and go straight until the 7th of July. And as you mentioned earlier, we have a lot of changes that will happen for this year's Nevis Mango Festival. Now, one of the changes that we have installed is we have moved from 3 days now to 4 days. And you are absolutely correct. The festival begins tomorrow at the Nevis Botanical Gardens. So at the Nevis Botanical Gardens, the event begins at 4 p.m. We will have our celebrity chef, Chef Sean Benjamin. He's originally from St. Lucia, but he operates out of New York. He owns a restaurant in New York, and he has been on the Food Network. Very, very interesting chef, and I've heard that he's very good when it comes to infusion of food, etc. So he's already on island, and you will get to see him tomorrow. He will be leading a master class at the Botanical Gardens, where 10 to 12 persons will be guided by him, of course cooking a mango infused dish. Now we just want to welcome one and all to come out after work. You could come and watch the master class. In addition to that, we'll have an after party, and the entertainment will be provided by the Regal Band. They will be performing the jingle, the Mango Festival jingle, tomorrow for the first time live. In addition to that, we will also have DJ Smudge. So I think it's an event that everyone should come out to. It will definitely be a vibe. Now, moving on from the Thursday into the Friday, it's a very long day. We will start at the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard, and that event starts at 1 p.m. and it's a family-friendly event. There's lots of prizes, there's lots of competition. Just to note some of them, one of the competition we'll bring back this year is the mango stoning competition. And that will let us know if you grew up inside or outside. I'm not certain, Mr. Premier, if you're familiar. I know you said that you're from Hanley's Road, if I'm not mistaken. Gingerland is very full of mangoes, so you should know about stoning mangoes. In addition to that, we will be introducing a tug-of-war. Now, a lot of debate has been happening in Nevis about which mango is the best mango. Now, at this point in time, I just want to advise everyone that Nevis has over 44 different varieties of mangoes, and there's usually a top 3. I want to say the Julie mango, the Amripali, and I've been hearing about the long mango. So we will have a tug of war between the Julie mango and the Amri Polly mango. So it depends on which team that you're on, you will represent your mango. I'm not certain, Mr. Premier, which mango is your favorite, but if I could recall, it was the Amri Polly that you said last year.
Well, I think that's everybody's favorite, you know.
Very interesting. We will also bring back the mixologist competition, and that's actually a fan favorite, so that will be there as well. We will have mango hunting for the kids, and one of the things that agriculture has assured us is once you come to the fruit orchard and you journey around the orchard, whatever you find there, you can eat for free. So that in itself is a great experience.
So that will the fruit orchard event is which day?
That will be Friday, July 5th.
So tomorrow we start with the opening.
Yes.
The master class.
Yes.
And that's where we have the celebrity chef.
Yes.
And we then have an after party at the Botanical Garden.
Correct.
Good. And then we move into Friday now, where you
Yes.
have the event at the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard.
Yes.
And what time is that event?
So that event will begin at 1 p.m. and go straight down until 6 p.m.
Okay.
Now, after that, we're still not finished with you yet. We are going to move down to Penny's Beach. We will be having a Penny's Beach bar crawl or a bar walk, given how close the bars are. And 7 bars will be participating. Weekends, Sunshines, Turtle Times, Zanzi's, Chill, Caribana, all of those bars on the beach, and they will be doing their mango infused cocktails. So the price point for that is only $15, and they'll be also doing mango infused food. So we want you to come on out. That event will be live streamed. There'll be interviews, fun, and it will be a great time on the beach as well. There'll be music, and it's just an experience. I know last year this was a favorite event for a lot of the patrons last year, and one of the things that they asked for was more structure in relations to the bar crawl. So we have provided that now, and we're going to start at weekends and end at the cabanas. So we probably spend about 20 to 30 minutes at each bar, and when we get to each bar, there will also be specials as well. So that's an event that I think is going to be great. I just want to caution the general public as well, though we have to be responsible whenever alcohol is involved. I know that alcohol and mango goes well together, so that event begins at 7 and it's scheduled to end at 10. But give it the 2 ingredients, it may go over. But just want to encourage everyone to be responsible. And that will conclude the Friday night, which is July 5th. Now, moving into the Saturday, which is July 6th, we invite you to come and participate in our Island Food Tour, Passport Island Food Tour. We will be moving throughout Nevis and visiting 10 restaurants. And the restaurants, in fact, I want to name them here today. We will start at Pass Bar, and that will start at 11 a.m. Music will be provided by the core band. Persons are also welcome. If you haven't signed up already, you could come the day of and also sign up as well. You will then jump on a party bus or safari, and we will move from there and go to the Little Cherry Tree, and that's in Barnsgut. After that, we'll go to H&M, then to Carbo's, On the Rocks, Squeeze Up Bar, Esme's, Heritage Cafe, Big Six, and Rosie's Patties. So it's 10 bars, and they will be doing mango infused dishes. And I've been advised that some of these restaurants will also have mango infused drinks, and I see the live right there, so I just want to give everyone a glimpse of the passport. So it's very interesting. It actually looks like an actual passport. So when you visit each one of these restaurants, they will give you a stamp to show that you've been there. And the packages, they range from $100 to $175. It is 3 packages. With the $100 package, you will have to drive your own car. You will get the passport, a t-shirt, a book, the t-shirt, the book, the passport book, and a bag, and you will drive your own car. With the second package for $125, you will go on a party bus or safari. You will get the passport, a cup, and a shirt. And for the third package, that will be inclusive of the boat ride from St. Kitts to Nevis and back, and it will also include all of what I just previously mentioned. So again, if you haven't got your tickets, you could come into the Nevis Tourism Authority, or you could visit nevismangofestival.com, nevismangofest.com, and there you're able to purchase your tickets online. Now, after the food tour, we are still not done. We actually will journey down to Four Seasons, the Mango restaurant, and we'll be having our celebrity chef, Chef Sean Benjamin. He, in collaboration with Four Seasons, has prepared a mango-infused menu. So it's very exciting. The price point for that, you would have to contact Four Seasons directly, but to book it will be $130 and there's also a group rate or table for 8 at $900, but it promises to be a night of spectacular conversation, great food, and amazing cocktails and wine. So again, if
we actually have the menu.
Oh, you do?
The menu that they're going to do at the Supper Club at Mango Restaurant, appropriately named. This will be a 4-course menu by Chef Sean Benjamin of Fat Fowl. That's a restaurant in Brooklyn. And he has a starter, which is pumpkin soup with shaved bitter chocolate. Second course is mango panzanella salad. Main course, choice of curry mango fish or jerk duck confit with mango chutney. And for your dessert, you have mango mousse. US $130 per person, including welcome cocktail. Group price of US $900 for a full table, 8 seats. And then you have optional beverage pairings. You can, for additional US $50 for alcoholic, US $30 for non-alcoholic. So that's Saturday, July 6th, 7 p.m. at Mango Restaurant. And like you say, we'd have to contact Four Seasons to book that. Right.
Yes. And of course, we've spoken about the Thursday, which is tomorrow, the 4th of July. We've covered the 5th, which is the Friday of July. And we've also covered the 6th of July, which is Saturday. And moving now to the big event, which is Sunday, July 7th, for the love of mangoes. Now, I just want to speak about some of the improvements that we have included this year. Yes, the Premier spoke about the hiccups that we had last year due to the overwhelming numbers. And we have since apologized. We've also given refund tickets to persons who would have came in the allotted time. And we have now moved from 30 to over 50 chefs, and I think that is ideal given that Culturama 50 is right around the corner as well. In addition to that, we've moved from 2 entrances to 10 entrances. We are using the entire park. We've also separated the exit. And just to be even more specific, as it relates to tickets, last year we had something called chits. We have since eliminated them, and we have now introduced perforated tickets. So you're able to tier actually tickets and give it to the chefs, and you're able to get both food and drink samples from this. So basically what we've done is we've listened to all of the feedback last year, and we've improved upon the product. I think Sunday promises to be one of the biggest events, and it's going to be, I dare say, well attended, and it's going to be well organized as well. In addition to that, we've added a concert. It's dubbed the Mango Concert, and we have local acts, of course. And in total, we have 6 persons who will be performing. And the 6 persons who will be performing are Abena Amri, she's one of the headliners, Denise Gordon, another headliner, the Regal Band, the Greenhouse Band, Mark and the Ivy Band, Garlic and the Upper Level Band, X-Man and the X Factor band. So once you get a ticket, that concert is automatically free as it's included within the purchase. But for persons who don't want to necessarily do samples, you can also buy a concert or limers package, and that will be for $50. So if I may, just let me speak about the prices. So for $50, you're able to get into the venue. That does not include any samples. For $75, you will get 5 samples, and for $100, you get 10 samples, and for $125 you will get 15 samples, and all of that is inclusive of the concert. In addition to that, we have many things to do once you're in there. We have the wellness center, facials, kids zone, a bit of sip and paint. We'll also have a panel discussion on mangoes and various uses of mangoes. We will have mango tasting there, selling of mangoes, of course, and we'll also have the News Tourism Authority store, so we'll be selling shirts and all of your items that you would love to get. So I just want to say that there has been many improvements made for this year's Mango Festival as we're celebrating 10 years, and I just want to encourage everyone, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, visit the Nevis Tourism Authority's office or nevismangofest.com, and we welcome you to this year's Nevis Mango Festival. It promises to be an epic event, and that is what I've been hearing people say.
So a few things. You're now using the entire park.
Yes.
So we have a lot more space.
Yes.
You have expanded the chef offerings to 50 chefs.
Yes, I have.
And those 50 chefs are going to clearly be catering. They're going to be scattered all across the venue.
Yes.
The idea is that people can walk and graze and sample. And you say that there are various ticket offerings. So for $50, if you're not interested in eating, you can come in for $50. You enjoy all the ambiance that's there, and you have the concert at the end. For $75, you get, is it 5 samples?
Yes.
Plus the concert.
Yes.
For $100, you get 10 samples plus the concert. And then for $125, is it?
Yes.
You get 15 samples plus the concert. At 15 samples, it means that you can go there basically with an empty belly and eat your belly full, because 15 samples is quite a lot, but it really gives you an opportunity to decide which of the 50 chefs you would want to sample something from.
Yes.
And the chefs are all going to be offering unique products that they're going to create just for this event.
Yes.
So the idea really is for individuals to go and to enjoy all that Nevis has to offer. Now, as I understand it, the requirement for the food and drink is that everything has to have some mango infusion of some kind.
You are absolutely correct.
Right. So this really gives us an opportunity, one, for our local chefs. We have a lot of unsung, very excellent chefs that are working in the kitchen. Sometimes you don't see them because they're not out front. Two, it really brings out their creativity and innovation, because they have to come up with something special for this event. And three, it allows them, of course, to showcase what they can do to a large audience. Now, I am told that you anticipate about 4,000 people.
That is what we're working towards. The tickets have been moving like hot bread and butter, as they used to say back in the day. There's one more improvement that I did not mention actually, and that is the Mango Lounge, and that is something that has been well received. It is our VIP experience, so it's an exclusive VIP food sampling, top shelf drinks, and that will be alcoholic and non-alcoholic. We will also have preferred view for the stage for the concert and preferred VIP entrance. So that is something that has been well received as well, and that is also an additional improvement to the Mango Festival. But as you said, Mr. Premier, you're absolutely correct. It gives the chefs an opportunity to be very creative. I mean, you're going to get your chicken, you're going to get your pork, you're going to get your shrimps, lobster. For the vegans, we haven't forgotten you. Ice cream. Listen, there's so much things to sample.
So in relation to the VIP, let's talk about that for a minute, because that's an innovation. So the VIP area then, as you call it, the Mango Lounge, you're creating an elevated experience for those who want to be there.
Correct.
I was told that it's now sold out.
Yes, it is.
So it's sold out. So the VIP
I wasn't certain that if I was going to say that yet, but yes,
yeah, but this is
absolutely
what I gathered, that the VIP area is sold out. Well,
yes, it's sold
that
out.
suggests that the demand is quite high.
Yes.
But at the VIP area, as I understand it, I think somebody raised with me today that there was a little uncertainty because it's new, it's an innovation this year. But at the VIP area, as I understand it, you're going to have dedicated chefs in the VIP area who will be providing significant mango dishes, samples for those who are in VIP.
You are absolutely correct.
So the people in the VIP area then would be catered for
Yes.
by those chefs in the VIP area,
Yes.
and they will have, of course, the benefit of having a service. So they have servers and all of that. Bring their food and cater to them in that area.
You have it absolutely correct.
So, are they allowed to go into the grounds? Those who are in the VIP area.
They are allowed to go down to the grounds. Yes, they have access to the grounds, but as it relates to sampling on the grounds, they would have to get separate tickets for that.
Okay, so the VIP experience then is really offering you a variety of samples from, I think it's 2 chefs.
Yes.
2 dedicated chefs in that area. So you're being fed and you have your drinks and you have everything, your service in that area. And if
Yes.
you choose to go into the crowd, so to speak, into the grounds, then of course you're able to do that. But to sample
You would have to get your own tickets.
those
Yes.
in the ground. Okay, now I understand then. So it really means that those in VIP would be catered to in that space.
Yes.
But if they want to go into the grounds and they want to walk around and sample other things,
Yes.
then they'd have to get tickets for that.
Absolutely
So,
correct.
all right. Well, I think that is quite clear. And so people who are going to be in the VIP, which is a new innovation. There's also, I think, from the logistical point of view, that this year you said you have more entrances.
Yes.
10 entrances. So that should really limit the lines. Last year there was a complaint because we know it's a little warm.
Yes.
So we have,
we have-
water stations,
yes.
hydration stations.
Yes.
Good. And then
Water sponsors, everything.
right. And then we have, of course, this grand concert, which is another innovation that you've
Mango
spoken to.
concert. Yes.
And that concert, I think we're going to have Abena Amri, who's been making waves internationally. She's going to be headlining. Denise
Yes.
Gordon, who we know quite well. She too will be headlining. And so we anticipate having really an excellent concert there as an added benefit, so to speak.
Yes.
An added amenity to those who are coming out. And as you said, the concert is available to all
Yes.
who are in the venue and who have bought a ticket.
And just to add, finally, as well, as it relates to the tickets and sample, now we know that persons may wait until last minute, etc. But what we've done as well, we're going to have ticket booths outside. But one new reassurance that I want to reassure the general public here tonight, that we have a cap in relations to the sample tickets. So even if tickets are sold outside, it's within the cap. So whenever that cap is reached, then tickets
So
for
this-
sampling are done.
This is like the arc. When the door closes,
Pretty much.
So the best thing to do then is to get your tickets early,
Yes.
as early as possible, because last year I think the problem was that ticket sales continued
Yes.
even though the venue had been overwhelmed with
Yes.
the demand. This year
Yes.
that is not going to happen. So we're ensuring that people are going to have enough food, enough drink, and that would mean therefore that we have to cut off. And so the cut off, I'm told, is about 4,000. That's what we're aiming for.
Yes,
Okay.
and one of the things I just want to say as well, now a lot of things people are going to say, oh, 4,000, No, when it comes to Mango Festival, what we've seen is persons buying more than one ticket. I don't quite understand. Well, I do understand. It's food and it's so good. So you want to come on out and get your tickets as early as possible. And again, there's a cap. We have done so many improvements this year. You have your 10 entrances, a separate exit, the introduction of the Mango Lounge, the Mango Concert, increase the chefs from 30 to over 50 chefs. We're going to have various stations with water to hydrate during the summer. We have water sponsors. So many persons are now on board. So we just want to invite one and all to this year's Nevis Mango Festival. We are celebrating 10 years from July 4th to the 7th of July. Beginning tomorrow at the Botanical Gardens, we welcome one and all to come out after work and watch the masterclass with the celebrity chef, Chef Benjamin. From that, we move to the Friday at the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard, and then to Pennies for the back wall. On the Saturday, we invite you to take a tour throughout Nevis. And the Saturday evening, we invite you to Mango's Restaurant at Four Seasons. And then, of course, Sunday, we invite you to the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park for the Love of Mangoes event. And I think this year's Nevis Mango Festival is going to be one for the books. And as the people are saying currently, it might be epic.
So tell me, the event that caps off the festival is the MGR Park event.
Yes, the For Love of Mangoes.
For Love of Mangoes. When does that start? What time does it start?
So the starting time is 10. Correction. The starting time is 11:30 in relations to early check-in. So you're able to come early, have a drink, etc. But the sampling starts at 1 p.m. and that should go down till the concert starts at 5. So the entire event goes down to around 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds quite exciting.
Yes.
And this is really an interesting update from Mr. Jones. All that we have to offer, all that is on offer. And I believe that this year's Mango Festival looks really fantastic. So I'm again encouraging people to get their tickets early. Again, $50 gets you in if you're not interested in the food, you just want to be there and to enjoy the concert. $75 gets you in to enjoy the concert and you get 5 samples. $100 gets you in for the concert and 10 samples, and $125 gets you in for the concert and 15 samples. That means that you can go to any of the 50 chefs and sample what they have, whether it's dessert, whether it's a food type. The idea really is that you can do what you want to do when you're there. And then of course you have the VIP experience, which I'm now told is sold out. That's the Mango Lounge, and that VIP experience, you would have dedicated chefs in there providing quite a large number of samples to you. We have 2 chefs who are going to be providing their own sort of innovations and creativity in relation to mango and mango dishes. And as you say, a premium bar will be there, and servers who will be catering to your needs. You can, if you're in the VIP, have access to the grounds, but if you want to buy food in the grounds or sample there, then you'll have to get additional tickets. So the idea really is for those in the VIP area to understand that the ticket covers them while they're in the VIP area for food and drink and the service that we hope to bring. And then at 5 o'clock or thereabouts, we go into the concert and we end the night, cap the night off with a concert. What I like about this concert is all local grown talent. You know, it's all local talent. Denise Gordon is well known, quite an international jazz singer, blues and jazz. Abena is really making a name for herself. Of course, she's the daughter of our former premier, Vance Amory. And so she's going to be there, and I know she's been wanting to come home to perform for a while, so I'm really happy that she's going to be there. And then we have the local bands like Greenhouse, Regal, and those who really need no introduction because they're well known locally. So Mr. Jones, thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and I think that the public now has a lot more information, and we look forward certainly to this Mango Festival, to borrow your term, being epic. That is what we think. And I want people to understand that this Mango Festival is the start of Culturama 50. I know that the fellas in Culturama tell me Culturama officially starts July 25th, but the truth is that once we get this momentum, we're taking it all the way. So we just came out of Music Fest in St. Kitts, which was epic. We're going into Mango Fest, which we want to be epic, and then we go into Culturama 50. And this year, 10 years of the Mango Fest, for the love of mangoes. So we invite everyone to come out and be a part of that.
Thank you.
Good, thank you very much. So that was Mr. Jones, who has come to share with us some information, and he will have to leave us now. He has other things. So Mr. Jones, before you leave, please, I just am reminded to ask you, could you tell us again where people can get tickets?
Yes, So persons can come to the Nevis Tourism Authority. We have physical tickets there, or you could go to nevismangofest.com and you could get your online tickets. So online, nevismangofest.com, or in our office at the Nevis Tourism Authority.
Okay, thank you very much. And the Nevis Tourism Authority is right on Main Street, Charlestown. For those who may not know where it is, it's the old Treasury building. So you can go there and get your tickets, or as you say, nevismangofest.com to buy your tickets online. So thank you again, Mr. Jones. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Fayon Jones, our marketing manager at the Nevis Tourism Authority, sharing some critical information with us in relation to our 10th anniversary of the Nevis Mango Festival. Now, I just want to add a footnote, because I got great word tonight from our project manager there at the Pinnies project that major works are now complete, and that project therefore will be available for patrons during the Mango Festival. I think that deserves a round of applause. I want to thank Michael Perkins, who has been the man there on the job for us. I want to thank Guangzhou, who are the contractors. I want to thank the government and people of Taiwan, who have financed not only the Malcolm Gishard Park, which has been done for some time, but has also now financed the lower portion. And that lower portion, let us remember, we now have parking, better lighting, better security. We have sewage, better sewage disposal. We have, of course, now dedicated security accommodation, and we have bathrooms and changing rooms down there. We have enhanced to a considerable degree the experience at Pinnies, and I believe that those divisions who have not yet gone there, but also those who are coming home for the summer and for Culturama, will really see something special. So you're going to get your first glimpse of it for the Mango Festival. We still have some minor things that we need to do, but I'm told that you'll get your first taste of it. So again, kudos to Mikey Perkins and the team doing excellent work. We're very happy that we are able to deliver this project to the people of Nevis, and are hopeful that it will be put to good use this weekend. Mr. Jones did mention that the exit will be at Pinnies, and that is because the idea now is that because we use an entire MGR Park for the event, that people do not have to come through the entrance gates to exit and create any bottleneck. They will just exit down towards the parking lot and around the bars there. And he's absolutely correct. We have a number of bars down there now. By my count, we have Nevis Peak Brewery, which is actually doing their own beer. In fact, I'm told that they will be bringing out a mango beer just for the Mango Festival. So that is an interesting innovation. Nevis Peak Brewery and Trattoria. It's an Italian sort of restaurant, but also a pub offering locally brewed beer. The first time in our history that we have a local brewed beer, and they have it offered there. I've tried it. It is excellent. I think that people are going to love it. And then as you come down into the development a bit further, you have Weekends, a local operator. You have Lime Bar, you have Lime Cabanas, you have Zanzi, you have Turtle Time, you have Chills, and you have, of course, the famous Sunshine's Beach Bar and Grill. So you have a number of options there, and I have said that it is this government's ambition that Pinnies Park and Pinnies Beach will become the #1 spot in the Federation for people who want leisure, who want to be in a nice, comfortable environment for family fun, and of course to enjoy the beach but also enjoy the park. It is one of the few places in the world where there's a park on the beach, and so it allows you to do both, and so we encourage our people to enjoy. I just want to say something further on the park. We had a complaint that there were some fire ants in the park. It is difficult, as we know, to control fire ants, but that complaint has been taken quite seriously, and just today we started an extensive treatment by exterminators to try and get rid of them. We'll have to treat perhaps every 4 to 6 months, but we are listening and we are responding because we want persons to have an excellent experience. So the works at Pinnies are complete in the main. As I said, there's some minor things to be done, but we expect that all will be available for purposes of the Mango Festival. Now, as I talk about summer and what is happening, I was sent a note here, and I think I just need to read it. The Prentice family of Nevis is having a reunion for Culturama 50, and they've asked me to try and get the word out on the mark tonight. So the scheduled events, they said, and let me just read, all members of the Prentice family originally of Churchground Nevis, but who are now residing in St. Kitts, Nevis here, of course, the USVI, BVI, USA, Canada, and the UK. A family reunion is scheduled in Nevis from July 28th through August 1st. So that's in the heart of Culturama. July 28th through August 1st. Scheduled events on Sunday, July 28th. There's a meet and greet after the 9 a.m. service at the Gingerland Methodist Church. Monday, July 29th, Nevis Island Tour and Lunch starting at Pinneys Beach at 9 a.m. So that's a big event, all-day event. Tuesday, July 30th, the Flamboyant Home Outreach. They're going to include the painting of a break room at the Senior Citizens Home. Wednesday, July 31st, they're taking the whole family to St. Kitts for an island tour. And Thursday, August 1st, they have a formal dinner and grand finale at Bananas Restaurant. What I like about this, you see how everybody is getting a taste of what the Prentice family is doing. They start out in church. They're going to go to St. Kitts. They're going to do something at the Senior Citizens Home. They're going to have an island tour and lunch. And they have a formal dinner at Bananas Restaurant. This is the last week to register. This is why they've asked me to speak about it tonight. So the Prentice family members that are listening, originally of Church Ground, this is your last week to register. So you have not signed up yet. You're asked to email Prentice Reunion. Prentice, Prentice, Reunion, REUNION, at gmail.com. Prentice Reunion, one word, at gmail.com. And they also have a Prentice Reunion family group chat on Facebook. If you can't get there, then you can call 214-535-7046 via WhatsApp. They're looking for a huge crowd, and they tell me that they expect over 100 members. So that's going to be a big deal here in Nevis for the Prentice family, and so much is happening. The church ground community, I'm told, is having a family, a church ground community reunion. Various schools are having reunions, and I'm aware that other families are having major reunions on the island as well during that time. So there's a lot that will be happening in Nevis for the summer, and the Prentice family asked me to just to say that on air, so that those members who are all across the world in VI, US and British, in the UK, in Canada, in the United States, etc., that they have an opportunity to register and be a part of this grand family reunion right there in Church Ground. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot happening. Now, I mentioned the park and the fact that the park, the works there are done. I also want to thank the people of Brownhill for their patience. We have now completed the road, and some people have asked why that road. Well, that road is an important road because it takes you now from Brownhill all the way down to Long Point. So from that road there, which starts at the basketball court in Brownhill, it now takes you all the way down past the premises of the late Alberta Marshall onto that new road that we've done, and into the whole of Cherry Gardens, the whole of Chimney Crescent development, Cherry Gardens, and then straight down to the Mondo track and onto the Port Road. And from there, of course, you go into town or onto the bypass road. So it really is an important artery as we continue to develop the network of roads in Nevis. Now, every time we do a road, the response that we get from a lot of other people is, what about my road? My road needs to be done. And we hear you. I want to tell you that we're not minimizing your concerns. We hear you. We understand that we have a lot of roads in Nevis that need to be done, and that all of them are important, especially to the people who live in those neighborhoods. We have made a commitment that we will be engaging in some of those roads. A lot of it is simply that we do not have the resources. But we had committed to finish that Brownhill Road. We're committed to finishing Butlers. I'm told that that will be done on Friday. And we have done some other works. So, for example, Public Works would have done an excellent job in repaving the Pinneys Road to get the whole park and that whole area finished. And they would have done that, I believe, last week. And, of course, we have also asked them to pave the parking lot there at the New Bath Stream. And I said New Bath Stream because I believe a lot of people wouldn't even recognize it when they go there. So on Monday of this week, 2 days ago, I had the opportunity to tour some of these developments. I started out by going to the Brownhill Road. The guys were there working. I want to commend very highly Danny Williams and my good cousin Buju, Caldi Sage, the entire team. They've done a really good job. Director Williams, who's the Director of Public Works, of course, and all of the others who have been involved in that particular development and really making Public Works run smoothly. You know, my brother Nevada Gittins, Kagi as they call him, who is the dispatcher. We have persons like the prominent secretary, Mr. Denzel Stanley. We have, of course, the minister, Minister Brand. And even though he's dealing with a lot of personal grief and personal issues now, I really, really commend him and his commitment to the people of Nevis, because notwithstanding dealing with his personal tragedy, he is still hands-on and ensuring that these works get done. And so I want to commend the entire team, all the workers, all the people who are contributing, because of course we have a lot of private contractors that we engage as well. But I have driven on that Brownhill Road now a few times, and I believe that the people of Brownhill should be well pleased that we've not only done the main road, but we've now done that major artery that takes you now straight down to the Mondo track. People have asked in Brownhill, what about other roads? Budging Road needs to be done, and we understand. But we are taking them one at a time, and we are trying to do them in order of importance in terms of what impact we're trying to have. So please be patient with us. It costs money to do the roads, and sometimes we are not in a position to do them all at once. We also have committed to have some roads done. I know the people over there in Mount Lily have waited long. I know the people up here in Church Ground and Hamilton have waited long. I know the people up there in Brown Pasture, going up to Burden Pasture, they have waited long. We are coming. We are showing you that we're coming. The people in farms, there are roads that are required all across the island. The people up there in University Heights, I have not forgotten you, but we are asking for your patience. We know it's hard sometimes because you're having to deal with bad roads, your cars, the wear and tear, but we're asking for patience because we're simply not able to do them all at once. But we're getting there. And I again commend the quality of work that is being done by Public Works. There was a time in this country, let us not forget, when they were told that they were not capable. There was a time in this country when Public Works was told they were not capable. No less a man than the Premier of Nevis told them that when they come from school, they don't know what they're doing. And they must go practice. And that was said by the then sitting NRP government in order to justify giving all of the work to a foreign company and bypassing the engineers and the trained persons at Public Works. This government took over in 2013, and we said no. We must empower our own people. And when we look at the quality of work that Public Works is doing, we understand that we made the right decision. Matter of fact, many people don't know that our guys routinely go to Sinkits to work with their brothers in Sinkits in relation to works, road works in particular there in Sinkits. Buju, Danny, all of them, they work on the old road project. They've worked on projects in Bastia. They have gone over and they've assisted. And that is because we have invested in them and allowed them to develop the expertise and to demonstrate what they can do. And that is why we say you need a government that invests in its people. Not tell them that they're not good enough. Not tell them that they're second class. Not tell them they must sit down in the back of the bus and practice, learn how to drive. We have said to them, we have confidence in you, and go out and show us what you can do. And they have delivered. And that is really what you need in a country. Putting your people first, having confidence in them, giving them that ability and that opportunity so that they could go out and they can perform. And anybody driving on Hanley's Road, Shaw's Road, Brownhill Road, Hart Village, go up there to Brazier's, wherever you may be driving, and you look at the quality, you understand that we're doing some great things here in Nevis, simply by relying on our own people. And as I like to say, we're building Nevis for us, and we're doing it by us. And that, I think, is important, because no country can develop if we don't invest in our own people. And that is something that this government has done, and I'm proud of that stark difference between us and who used to be there, who used to tell our people, you're not good enough. We're telling them, you're better than good. You're better than good. You are as good as any and better than most. And we have invested, and we've seen our people grow in confidence because they know that the government has confidence in them. So kudos to Public Works and to all the hard-working members. I hope that the weather allows us to get Butlers done from Friday as planned, and then we go to the Bath String, where we're doing some work there. So my tour on Monday took me from Brownhill. Then I went to the Bath Spring, and I cannot continue. I cannot, well, I should say I cannot continue. I want to continue. I cannot stop praising the work of P.S. John Hanley and the man who's been there and who in many respects has been the driving force, Mr. Sylvester Meade, about that project. Because yes, they have my support, but the creativity, the energy, it is really has been them, and more especially Mr. Meade, who has been on site each day, and they have really pushed that project. They've been working with some artisans. I want to big up my friend Patches there from Church Ground. He has been the main contractor on the site. Really has done a wonderful job. And the team, if you go there and you see the level of landscaping, you see the planting, you see the fact that we now have change rooms, we now have gazebos, relaxation areas. The whole idea really is that when we're done, the Bath stream there is going to become really a must see and a go-to place. We want when people go there, they don't just go in the bath and leave, that they can relax. They have bathroom facilities now, they have changing facilities, they can hang around. And for a long time we have had my good friend Eldaria Jones, who has been there. She's been the only person. I want to commend her publicly. I want to commend Eldaria Jones, because she was the one who had the vision to set up a small business there, offering persons who are using the stream various products. Even a towel, she offered that. And she has been one of the main agitators, saying to me, we need to develop, we need to develop, we need to develop. This project did not happen overnight. This was a work in progress for quite a while, as we didn't have the resources and various factors. But this year, we decided to get it done. And I want to commend Eldaria, because she's a pioneer. She has her business there, small business, and I think that really and truly she has done a wonderful job, and she has inspired us to be better. And so what we have there now is really a fantastic improvement in terms of that overall experience. And that is coming to a close as well. That too, I have said to the team, has to be ready for Culturama 50, and they've accepted that challenge. I then left there. I went to the Culturama Village and Complex. I'm blown away with what I'm seeing there. They're putting on finishing touches like painting and finishes now, but it's really fantastic what we've been able to do, both at the village and at the complex. I am told that we use over 12 contractors and over 65 different vendors on that project. So when you talk about government expenditure and how government expenditure can act as a multiplier in the economy, to use over 12 contractors and 65 different vendors on that project tells you how much we've been able to not just spend, but spend across the economy on the island of Nevis and St. Kitts as well, because we have some of the vendors are over in St. Kitts. So I think that we really have done an excellent job in infusing much needed capital into the local economy, and by so doing assisting the growth of the local economy. And incidentally, I saw a comment on social media from someone who I believe should know better. I won't call his name, but he's an NRP supporter living in Canada, and says a lot of things sometimes which I believe really ought not to be said, especially by somebody who has had the benefit of living in a big country, living in a developed country, and should know better. And one of the things they're doing is criticizing the roads. Oh, you're building road. Road is not development. Road is not what you want. In fact, he made a comment and said that we should be focused on building the economy, not building road. So I said, how do you build an economy without infrastructure? I was in Canada 3 weeks ago, and on some of the highways in Toronto, there were so much traffic. And I asked, well, why is the traffic so? And they said, you know why? Because the government is now investing, so there's construction on the highways because they're expanding their road networks. They are essentially building out and improving their infrastructure. In the United States, the Biden administration and before him other administrations have invested billions of dollars in what? Infrastructural development. new roads, new highways. You cannot develop an economy without infrastructure. So when I hear people are saying, oh, you're building road and that ain't doing nothing for the economy. But listen, we're building the roads. Who's building the roads? We're building the roads. Local contractors, local backhoes, local heavy equipment, local trucks. Those are the ones who are essentially benefiting from the expenditure. So I just want our people to broaden their thinking. Not because you're opposition and you're programmed to oppose. Broaden your thinking and understand that everything that this government is doing is connected. We're not just getting up and deciding we're going to do a road. We're building out the road infrastructure, just as we are building out the water infrastructure, just as we have built out the electricity infrastructure. We're doing that, building out the school and education infrastructure, building out the health infrastructure, because without infrastructure, you can't grow an economy. The two things are inextricably combined. And I want our people to appreciate and to understand that this is a government with a plan, and you are seeing that plan materialize. When you go down to Pinnis Park, I heard all kinds of things being said. But do you know that the MGR Park, the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, now is the most utilized venue in the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis? You hear what I said? It is the most utilized venue last year of 365 days in the year. That venue was booked. That is the visitor center area where there's a conference room and all that. That was booked nearly 300 times out of a year of 365 days. I want you to consider that. And this year, the hardest thing to do is to get a booking at MGR, because every time you call, you want Sunday, Monday, no matter which day of the week, they tell you booked up, booked up, booked up. So a lot of people, even the government, it's a government facility, and sometimes the government can't get the facility to use because of how many people. We have weddings, we have conferences, we have meetings, we have all of this that's happening. And so when we look and say, well, have these investments been impactful? The answer is yes. Yes. Even those who have criticized it have gone there to have the events. Imagine that. They have gone there to have the events. I saw the NRP had a big cocktail event down at the MGR Park, and I applauded them because it's such a fine facility done for all of us. And I hope that they use it more because it's available to all of us. It is not Mark Brantley's facility. It may have been built under an administration that I'm privileged to lead, but it is a Nevis facility. And long after I'm gone, it is my hope that that facility will continue to be there for the benefit of all of us. So when I left by the cultural village and cultural complex, I went down to Pinnis, saw that we had finished the road and the construction had now come to an end in terms of the major construction, just minor things to do now. I then left there and I went all the way over to Butler's, where I went to the desalination plant that is being done, and that of course is being supervised and spearheaded by the Honorable Spencer Brand, and to look at the progress that is being made there. We have promised the people of Nevis more water. We're doing that small desalination plant, and in addition we hope to do more drilling, and the last report we have is that the drillers should be on their way. So a lot has been happening, but I want our people to understand that these are not happenstance, these are not haphazard or accidental. We are working according to a plan to develop this island, and when you look at the various investments that the government is making, you can see a clear pattern that we are creating that sustainable island state that has been popularized by Prime Minister Drew in terms of his commentary. Now, we have had guests and I've been talking for a while. It is, after all, a call-in show. So I'm going to open the phones for the last, say, 40 minutes and take some calls and see if anybody's out there who wants to talk to us. I have a lot more information I would want to impart, but I'll open the phones now and continue to talk until the phones ring. The numbers to call are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. As I would have said earlier, I would have traveled with Prime Minister Drew as part of his delegation to Taiwan. And some people would have asked me, well, what was the relevance of you being there? And the answer is simple. We want the people, government and people of Taiwan to understand that government and opposition are together in our support of our relationship with Taiwan. And what better way to show that than to have the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition together there, standing shoulder to shoulder and saying to the people, government and people of Taiwan, we are with you. And that really was the purpose behind it. I want to thank Ambassador Lin and his team. The arrangements and the hospitality in Taiwan were, as always, excellent, and I'm truly grateful that we were able to go. I did fall ill there, and so I missed the day of activities, but I'm much better, thank you, and I was able to benefit from the care that they offered me there, and so I'm back on my feet, and so I'm delighted that we are able to really go there and to engage at the highest levels. It was very impressive because Prime Minister Drew was afforded the courtesy of being the first head of state that would have visited and had a full military parade in his honor. And so he would have been able to meet with President Lai, and also we were able to meet with the new foreign minister and others. And so it was, I think, an excellent opportunity to engage. And again, we continue to make it clear that St. Kitts and Nevis is committed to growing, deepening, and strengthening its relationship with the Republic of China, Taiwan. We want to thank Taiwan for all that they've done and all that they continue to do. And I have said it time and time again. I know you're tired of hearing me say so, but it is true. And that is why I say so, that Taiwan has not just been our friend. Taiwan has been our best friend. And so we are grateful to them. In fact, I was very, very delighted to hear that we now have 91 nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis living in Taiwan, of which 71 of those are students. And as I mentioned students, let me just encourage the young people in Nevis to apply for these scholarships to study in Taiwan. Even in Taiwan, they were saying that not enough divisions are there. I believe of the 70-something students, less than 10 are from Nevis. And they're saying that the divisions are not applying. Please apply. The opportunity is there. The opportunity is yours. Let's go to the phones and take our first call. Good evening. Good evening. You're on the mark. Hello?
Paternal love and greeting, brother Premier.
Yes, good evening to you.
And blessed night. And how are you doing, my brother?
I am well, thank you.
And thankful for the love of the Almighty blessing you are safely returning on your travel that you just described. Now, good night to your listeners by radio and internet, or fan radio and on the map. Just a question I would like to bring to your floor, if you permit me, please. And aspect to the law that is engaged in, a judgment is handled in the court, and specifically the High Court, that state that the person is supposed to pay up what is implied as a charge that was outlined in a judgment. And showing up all the time that they did not pay. Now, this time was insist by asking for the judge to send that person to jail. And the person was requested on the grounds or basis to pay that payment, but they paid in a check. And in that check, it was considered to be a bank check. So, in that aspect, that person supposed to be handled in a sentence to jail time.
The check is, you say, what? A bad check?
Yes, a bad check, as I call it. Blank check.
You mean the check bounce?
Bounce.
Okay.
So in that aspect, I'm asking you, generally, supposed to be that person supposed to be sentenced to jail within that format, knowing that that check was bounced?
Well, I don't know the specifics of the situation that you're describing, but usually, if the court makes an order that money is to be paid, then that money has to be paid because the decision of the court has to be honored. The only way you can avoid a decision of a court is to appeal that decision and hope that the higher court overturns it. But once that decision stands and it continues to stand, then it has to be obeyed. So if the court orders you to pay $1,000 for sake of argument, you can't give the court a bounce check because that in and of itself is an offense. So I would expect that if that is the case, then the lawyers that are involved would make the necessary representations to the court. So I assume that people are being represented by lawyers, and so the lawyers need to do their job.
Well, in the aspect, they are represented by lawyers, and we are asked that in that level, because I myself let the person know the lawyers should have forward in a chamber concerned to that matter. Because sometimes you must go back to the provision of the High Court itself if we go into the studies of the judge and outlining the judge that this is what takes place, the payment of a bounce check.
Yeah, well, a bounce check is no payment. In fact, to issue a bounce check is actually fraudulent. You could actually be charged with a criminal offense, as I understand it. If I were to take your goods, for example, and issue a bounce check, then I could be charged for that. So it's a very serious matter. But as I said, assuming that whoever you're mentioning are represented by lawyers, their lawyers need to make the necessary representations to the judge.
So we just say this in this case, it's a matter of upholding your place of your island in Nevis. And this is something I've been for a virgin and Sister College previous time before the travel, now learning the consequences that was occurred, and the person should have been going to face jail, and in that instance he is issued by his lawyer to present a check, and in that format the check is now as a bounce check. So we would like to know that justice is available for the person to get the full payment that was required, and if even though as his representation was called as in context, who was saying you outlined of saying appeal, we saying that there was something outlined before he appealed. So if that aspect, he's supposed to honor what was said before he appealed, and if he don't honor it, I think it's jail, because this time now we say the justice system has to be fair if we're serious about changes. And I panel and the justice system to follow what was stated by the same head of the Supreme Court. And if that is not carrying out, I mean, we got a joke system within the law fraternity. Not by the lawyers or by the judge. All
right. Well, before we judge the fraternity and all of that, we need to know whether the lawyers are doing their job. So that is what's important. I don't know if you know, but I certainly can't speak to that.
I've seen, and this is now time of changing in the judicial system for the betterment of the poor man and poor man get service as equal as how the rich man and rich man are getting service.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. That's an interesting point that you've raised about court judgment being paid with bounce checks. As I said, that would really be a matter for the lawyers to engage and the consequences that flow from that. But that is a very serious matter. If somebody would use a bounce check, a bounce check really means a check which is returned by the bank for insufficient funds. So if somebody's going to do that to pay a court judgment, then that's quite a serious matter, because that's very contemptuous even of the court and of the judge. But I don't have the specifics, caller. That will be a matter for, as I said, the lawyers and the necessary representations to be made to the court in relation to that. The numbers to call: 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Let's go straight back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Good evening, Honorable Brantley.
Yes, good evening, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, and good evening to the listeners from on aboard. Carl Brown from Fountain and Shadwell Sinky. Honorable Brantley, a question. I know this may have been asked at your press conferences time and time again. Could you give us a little update on how far we are on geothermal? And then one other thing, the Honorable Congress Maynard last year and into this year, and followed up by Prime Minister Dr. Ju, stated that $17 million were given to geothermal. Have you received any of that money yet?
Okay, the issue in relation to geothermal is really the same issue that we've confronted all along, and that's an issue of financing. Congress Maynard would have mentioned US $17 million. That money has been approved. I want to use my words carefully. That money has been approved by the Caribbean Development Bank for the Nevis geothermal project. There has been no drawdown of any of that money yet. And the reason for that is because that money is to do the drilling, and we have not yet selected a driller. So we went out two bids in relation to the driller. That bidding failed for a variety of reasons, and we have had to redo and go back out to bidding, which I'm told is being done now. So none of that money has been drawn down yet.
Okay.
So we are still trying to find, however, the balance of the money, because we have what we call a funding gap. Put differently, the 17 million US is not enough to do the project. So we have a gap, and that is why we would have engaged with the Saudi Development Fund. I recall that some representatives from Saudi Arabia are here, and we have also engaged with other people. The Prime Minister has reported. Certainly he has advised me, and I think he has advised the nation, that on his recent travels to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, he would have met with some individuals, and I can say that those individuals are currently in the Federation, and we are scheduled to meet with them tomorrow in Bastille.
Wonderful. So we should hear some news from you.
Let's not go so fast. We are having a meeting. Whether or not that meeting is successful and bears fruit, I can't tell you in advance of the meeting. But we are having a meeting tomorrow because those individuals have come at the invitation of the Prime Minister. He and I have had a Zoom meeting with them, and they're now here in person. So we hope to meet with them tomorrow in Bastille, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So if there is good news coming out of that, then certainly we would come back with that. But that has been the real problem with this geothermal project from day one.
Man, it's too many years.
It's gone along, I agree with you, but you know, money makes the mayor go, and without having the money, that has been the problem. So that 17 million US dollars from the Caribbean Development Bank has really been the first major tranche of money that has been made available to this project. But we're still short, as I said, of the required. We're trying to do 5 wells, 3 production and 2 reinjection wells, and those wells average about 5 million US dollars each. So 17 million is not going to get us there. Of course, in addition to the wells, we have some lands in the area that we need to get. We have roads that we need to put in. So we have a funding gap, and so we are looking for partners to fill that funding gap.
One more question.
Yes.
One more question, Honorable Brantley. Are you satisfied with the budget support for Nevis at this moment?
Satisfied, no, because I still think that we need a formula that we will have to settle on. It is a matter of ongoing discussions between myself and the Prime Minister, and I believe that we are close. I can't speak for him, but based on those discussions, we are very close to coming to a solution on that. People have said, oh, I'm not talking about the issue. I'm not talking about the issue for a number of reasons, because we are having discussions internally, and it has taken a while. It is a process. But what I will say is that the island of Nevis has been getting all that it used to get under the previous administration of which I was a part.
I know that.
But it is also getting, in addition to that, additional sums that this Prime Minister has made available, and those sums have come from the Republic of China, Taiwan. I want you and the public to understand that all the time during the Unity administration, the Republic of China, Taiwan was making a donation of several million US dollars every year to the office of the Prime Minister in order for that office to then execute projects in the country. I was foreign minister of this country for 7 years under Team Unity administration, and I did not know that that money was coming every year to the office of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Drew, when he got into office...
That's sad.
Well, that is the reality.
Very sad indeed.
Prime Minister Drew, when he got into office, called me one day, and he said to me, Premier, are you aware of this money that comes every year from Taiwan? I told him no. And he said, well, he was surprised to hear that, but he is making a commitment that 25% of that money will come to Nevis.
Wonderful.
And he has kept that commitment. In fact, I have said publicly that you see that park down at Pinnes that we're doing, that was done from that money. And this year, that money came in, and that is what we're using for all the upgrades we're doing for Culturama. At the village, at the complex, the upgrades at NIPAC, all of those are being done with that money that the Office of the Prime Minister has made available to us, which they were always getting, but which I knew nothing about. So, when people are out there talking about I'm not saying anything, it's largely because I am trying to work with Prime Minister Drew. I'm trying to build a better relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis, and I believe that he has demonstrated thus far, at least to me, that he has something that I believe is important in politics, and that something is called integrity. And he has said to me that this is what he's going to do, and he has done it. And when a man tells you he's going to do something and he does it, I believe that you ought to give him the credit, because
and say that's a man.
that is the position. Well, I can only say what has happened, because I was in a government for 7 years, and that government collected millions of dollars from Taiwan each of those 7 years, and I did not know. So the island of Nevis got nothing from that. So while we continue to get the same amount monthly from the Citizenship by Investment Program, this 25% of that money has been an additional sum that has come to us on an annual basis since Prime Minister Drew has been there. And if I did not know anything about it for 7 years, it means that he didn't have to tell me about it. He didn't have to share any of it with me. He could have simply continued the pattern. But he's the one who called me and asked me, am I aware? And then made that commitment of 25% of it. And so that money has come as well. And as I said, we have put that money to good use to do some capital projects on the island.
Yeah, last question.
Yes.
Could you tell us of any improvement on the plans that were to develop the Brantley International Airport?
Improvement?
Yeah, because you, on a number of your press conference, you stated that one time we had an investor, we didn't hear not much after that, was interested in developing the airport
Right.
and bringing some flights and...
Right. Okay, so the project is still very much on stream. We have been doing what is a first step and critical, but we've been doing various steps all at once. So we've been doing the design, the town hall meetings. I think we've had 2 thus far. We intend to have some more shortly. We have been doing the social and environmental impact assessment. I believe that is now complete. I think I've seen a draft of it. We are on the phase now of the land acquisition. You can't do an airport without the land.
True that.
And most of the landowners have agreed, but there was a significant parcel of land that we had some hiccups. And in fact, only today, the cabinet would have received communication from the lawyers for that landowner. And so we are trying to come to a decision, basically, an agreement as to how we can go about acquiring those lands. Once we have those lands acquired, basically the project can start, because the investor is still on board. The understanding was that that investor would inject a certain amount of money in relation to some aspects of the project, and the NIA would have to raise the balance of money for the rest of the project. The overall cost of the project, I think, we had put at about $40 million US, and that investor, I think, had committed some $25 million US. And so we have the responsibility to come up with the balance. So it's a public-private partnership. It's not a privatization of the airport, as some were trying to peddle. It is not a sale or lease of the airport, as some were trying to peddle. It's a partnership to develop the airport between the government and a private investor. So that is where we are at this point. Once we can get those lands settled, we are really ready to go in terms of the development. And we are talking to partners, international partners as well, about the possibility of assisting us with that land acquisition and the development phase of that project. We are also having conversations with the federal government, because we feel that what is happening here in Nevis will augment what is happening at RLB. Because remember, what we're trying to do in Nevis is not to compete with RLB, but to complement. So we are not expecting to create an airport in Nevis that will have...
to increase more flights into Nevis.
Yes, but it's a different kind of flight, meaning what we expect to get, for example, the American flights, they use an Embraer plane that seats about 76, 80 passengers maximum. They are the ones they're using now to fly into Anguilla. And Anguilla, I believe the public should now know, has 2 flights a day from Miami, right? So those are the smaller planes, essentially. So we're not going to get the big jets. We're not going to get American Airlines, the big planes. We're not going to get British Airways. That's not what we're aiming for. So those will continue to go to RLB, but we want to get the private jets. We want to get certainly the small American flights, as they used to have the American Eagle, those types of flights, and we hope to get some regional traffic so that things like, what are they called now, CAL and those airlines, that they will also be able to land here. We have a new airline that has just started up, a Haitian airline. They're servicing, I'm told they've just started a base in Antigua to serve the Eastern Caribbean. Those are the types of airlines we would like to be coming, as well as, of course, the Winaires of the world. We continue to service those. So we are quite optimistic that we can create something here which will add value to the Federation and, of course, add value to the development of the island of Nevis. And what for me is important is, as I mentioned earlier, we are building out the infrastructure in a very deliberate way. You can't develop your tourism product without having a way that people can come into the island. You can't develop your business and your economy without having infrastructure. So your airport, your seaport, your roads, your water, your electricity, your health, all of those are critical investments for government to make if that government is serious about development.
Before I go, listen for you. Update on the hospital project.
So the hospital project, I would have updated at, I believe, my last press conference to say that it had been our intention to restart that project in May of this year, but we have actually put that on hold because I said to the team, let us focus on what we need to accomplish in time for Culturama 50. It is a milestone event, Culturama 50. It will only happen once, and most of us in our lifetime will not be around to see Culturama 100. And so I said, let us focus on that, and rather than having government expenditure all over the place, let us focus our efforts there. And when we're done with that, it will be all hands on deck in relation to the hospital. So I did say that in a press conference to indicate why there has been a further delay in relation to the resumption of works. There's also, we have run into a bit of a technical issue, and that is the availability of local expertise to do some of the work that is required at that hospital. So what we're realizing is that we'll have to outsource internationally quite a bit of the work. So when you start to talk about the gases, for example, for the hospital, we start to talk about various equipment and installation of elevators and those kinds of things. We have to outsource those. So we are working on all of that sort of behind the scenes, but in terms of actual resumption, we hope that that will happen after Culturama is over. We can turn our attention full speed to that. We have made that commitment in relation to the hospital to the people of Nevis, and we will keep that commitment. But Mr. Brown, I continue to say that a lot of the noise that you're hearing about the hospital is just noise. The reason I say that is this: nobody in Nevis is getting less care, and healthcare in Nevis has not been adversely affected because that hospital is not yet complete. I've likened it to having a home in which you're comfortable. There's no leak, there's no problem in your home. You decide you want to build a bigger and better home. That's okay. But your shelter is not affected by the fact that that bigger and better home is not yet complete. And I want to make that very clear, because we continue to enhance healthcare and what we're providing. Nevis now has equipment that not even our bigger sister St. Kitts has. A 128 slice brand new Philips CT scan. In fact, on our recent trip, Dr. Frank Laws was on that trip, and he indicated that St. Kitts is now in the process of ordering the same machine. Well, Nevis has had that machine now. We have mammogram. We have brand new ambulances. We have invested in a lot of equipment at our hospital that makes the diagnostics better and allows our doctors to do a better job. We have more doctors now on staff, Mr. Brown, than ever before in the history of the island of Nevis. More specialists on staff than ever before. And so, do we need to finish the hospital expansion project? Absolutely. But is anybody suffering because of it not being completed? No. We are providing the care that our people deserve and need, and we will continue to do exactly that. So we'll turn our attention to the construction later this year, once we pass C50, Culturama 50, and the celebrations that we are having around that period, which some people are seeing just as culture armor, but I would just add that it's also a huge economic injection into the island of Nevis. Let's go back to the phones. We have 10-12 minutes left. Take your calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Mr. Brantley.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Do you know the name of a little village called Victoria Road?
I know it very well.
Well, I didn't hear you call that name tonight.
Well, there are a lot of names I did not call, so I apologize to you and to everybody else whose name I didn't call. So please forgive me.
All right. So, but next time, please remember Victoria Road.
All right. Okay. I hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
All right.
Because I'll hold you to it.
Good. Well, boy, so many are holding me to it, but we're trying our best. We'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there. Okay. God bless.
Okay.
All right. So we have 10 minutes left and we're taking your calls. 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Let's go straight back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable Brantley.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
I would like to send out condolences to Papa and the family down in Church Ground on the passing of Lillian, from the Prentice family in Gingerland and from all over the Caribbean. Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. And my scripture reading tonight, I'm just reading about 3 verses, is taken from Psalm chapter 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar, and be troubled, though the mountain shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. That's the end of the reading of the scripture. And good night, Mr. Brantley, and all the best to you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that beautiful scripture. As you mentioned scripture, my first caller would normally be my friend who reads a scripture. I hope that she's okay. I miss you. I miss your voice tonight, so I hope that you're all right, because normally you make it a point, even when you travel, to be my first caller. So I hope that all is well with you. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Brantley. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you. Go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Yeah, thank God for bringing it back safe and sound.
Thank you very much.
Well, we are now in the semi-final stage of the VPL League, and we'll have the semi-finals on the 14th of July and the finals on the 21st. And on Sunday coming up, we'll be having a match between the Bushwhackers team and the combined school, and the second match between Eastern and Jets. And the teams that make the semi-finals are Jets and Eastern and Bushwhacker and the Guyanese. And thank all those who have sponsored and supported us so far.
Well, I still have a sponsorship check for you. I know you've been looking for me, but you know I've been all over the place. So perhaps I'm not going to be available tomorrow, Friday, perhaps on Monday of next week, okay?
Okay then.
All right.
No problem. Okay, thank you in advance.
Okay, good. Take good care and continue to do well. I wish you every success with the league.
Okay then.
All right, good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking some final calls. We have about 8 minutes or so. Let me see what the time is here on my clock. 6 minutes left. We take. I'm told by the operator 5. I think what she means is she's gonna strike up the band in 5. So the numbers to call are 869-469-1616 or 469-1700. I was talking earlier about doing the tour on the various projects. I really want to commend the Honorable Eric Evelyn and what he's doing with the complex, what he's doing there with the cultural village, what he's doing at NEPAC. NEPAC has been of particular importance because we had a bad roof, a leaking roof, and that caused a lot of damage internally. We also had AC units that had not been replaced since NEPAC was built, and we know NEPAC has been there now for what, at least I think maybe 15 years almost. So really it was a need to spend some resources, and it has cost a pretty penny, but we've had to go there. We had sewage to deal with, we had electrical issues to deal with, but we're making investment to ensure that our people have the necessary facilities, and that NEPAC facility is going to be important because we're having a massive archaeological conference that is happening here in Nevis in August, and that again is a huge injection into the local economy because we expect over 200 people are going to come for that conference, plus of course their families and people they may bring with them. And in the month of August, that's good for us because normally in the summer months we don't have much activity. Four Seasons is reporting that they have buyouts as deep as into the month of July as well, and so we are really optimistic, and we are hopeful that God will spare us any damage from any storms this year. We know that the season has been predicted to be hyperactive, and we've seen that already with Hurricane Beryl. I started out by extending prayers to our brothers and sisters across the Caribbean who have been impacted by that storm, but I am hopeful that God will spare us. Each year we have had here for 2 decades now that prayer service put on by our churches to spare us in terms of hurricane, and I believe that prayer works. I really truly believe that prayer works. There are many people out there who have a lot to say. Some say they don't believe in God, but you know what they say, only a fool says there's no God. I believe that prayer works, and I believe that we ought to be grateful to those men and women, those servants of God who have consistently prayed for us. They get a lot of criticisms, but they have consistently prayed for us, and we must remember, even while we criticize them, that they are human just like us, and a lot is demanded of them. But they have been there offering prayers up to heaven for our protection, and I say thank you to them, because the truth is, no amount of government planning, no amount of disaster preparedness could really prevent us from getting hit. It is only the grace of God. And so we ask our people to continue to pray that He will spare us this hurricane season. Nevis is on such a great economic trajectory and development trajectory right now that we can really go so much further if we don't have to deal with these exogenous shocks like hurricanes and the like. So we're really prayerful that that will be the case. And so continue to pray, all of us. Even imperfect vessels like me, we must continue to pray and try our very best to get God's favor during this hurricane season. Let's go back to the phones and say good evening, you're on the mark. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Premier. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm not doing bad at all.
Nice. I know you're almost out of time. I just
Yes.
wanted to quickly remind persons as to what is happening this weekend for Culturama. We took a break last weekend because of the music festival, and so we are back on track this weekend. And so tomorrow evening, we have the quarterfinals of the Calypso competition happening at MEMS. Tomorrow evening, I think it's over 20 Calypsonians, so you're going to be getting a treat for only $20. On Friday evening, we have an action corner up at the Kaiso Bar. That's there by Panko's. And then on Saturday evening, we are having a Soca Theatre tent. That's Soca Theatre tent number 3, and that's happening at the Artisan Village. That one is free of cost, I believe. And so it's another action-packed weekend. I know we have a lot of action for the Mango Festival as well, so people have a lot of activities to go to this particular weekend. I want to encourage people to continue to support. Persons have supported the Calypso tent so far. They have supported the Soca Theatre tent. The vibe has been quite good, and we're asking people to continue to come out and support for this weekend as well. I know you're out of time, so good night.
Well, thank you very much for that, Honorable Eric Evelyn. You're the action man now. You know, all eyes are on you.
Yes,
everybody's looking to you to ensure that Culture Armor 50 is excellent, and I want to commend you. I've done so already tonight.
Thank
I don't know
you.
if you're listening.
I heard you.
But I certainly want to commend you for the excellent work that you've been doing, you and your team, as we really get Nevis ready for Culture Armor 50. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you as well.
All right.
Good night.
Good. So this weekend, as we have told, the Mango Fest starts tomorrow. right there at the Botanical Gardens. On Friday, it moves to the fruit orchard at Indian Castle on Saturday, and then on Friday evening at Pinner's to all the bars there. Then on Saturday we have the food passport, where we're going to 10 different bars and restaurants, local bars and restaurants around the island. I'm sure Cherry Tree Bar and Cabo and all of those are going to be pleased that we're bringing the crowd to them. And then, of course, on Saturday night we have the master chef who will be putting on a culinary delight there at Mango Restaurant. And then on Sunday we have the big day there at the MGR Park, and people will be able to see the new facility that we're unveiling as well. So we have a packed time. And then, of course, tomorrow night at MEMS we have the quarterfinals, and then on Friday Kaiso Corner, not Kaiso Corner, on Friday we have Action Corner, I think it's called, by Panko right there in the gap right there at Coolhill. And so we expect people to come out in their numbers. So we have a good time pending, and we hope and trust that people come out in their numbers, have fun, but have clean fun, behave themselves, and as Fayon warned us, please drink responsibly. That's our show. The banner's truck up. It means we have to go. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Von Radio, Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse. Thank you, good night, and God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.